Carl and Damon here from Games, Brains and Head-Banging Life, gbhblofficial.com for short, and it is They Made What into a TV series. Devil May Cry, penultimate episode, episode number 7, At the Gates of Paradise, directed by Han Seung-woo. This is a straightforward episode, mostly action, which, to be fair, at this stage, particularly following the previous episode, which was so like powerful, emotionally raw, and all that kind of thing. To kind of
Yeah,
follow up with like, no, here we are back to the main story, focusing on the main characters, and it's mostly an action scene setting up a finale. Well, it's part finale. It's basically a two-part finale.
yeah. I mean, I was expecting a lot of action in the last two episodes. You know, we knew what was coming. So yeah,
Yeah, and the thing is, Devil May Cry hasn't pretended to be anything but a video game, and it follows that formula to a degree. This is your sub bosses, your kind of early pre-fight with the boss, who will then eventually become the big final boss of the game in the final episode. You know,
yep,
we start with the White Rabbit meeting with a demon in Mackay. Demon looks kind of like a I don't like. I'll be honest, I don't love the look of
yeah,
both. Well, we'll say it now. I don't like the look of both Dante and Virgil when they're transformed into demons. I think they look a bit like a transformer. You know, the
yeah,
cartoon original right? It's the
yeah.
face,
Yeah, definitely.
right?
I mean, I think overall that the animation is really impressive, but that it looks a bit too. I don't know what the word is.
Smooth. I thought
Yeah, yeah,
smooth. You
yeah,
know, I really didn't like his face. Like, I was a bit like, oh, I don't like that. But it's still good. The White Rabbit's doing the White Rabbit things, and seeing him back in Mackay in Hell, we kind of see the poison atmosphere cause him pain as he has to adjust his chest thing. But we do now see that this demon, whoever it is, apparently that's demon and the rabbit have been working together, and the
Mm.
demon gives the rabbit Virgil's half of the amulet and also a bit of Virgil's blood. And this is basically, all the White Rabbit now needs is to bring the barrier. Needs is Dante's blood to bring the barrier down between Hell and Earth is Dante's blood. And the White Rabbit has a plan for that, but insists that he gets the demon's sword, this particular demon's sword, which has got a name you'll learn later on,
Mhm.
um, and revealing that he knows who he is. Like, I know who you are. There's only one way you could have got this blood. Now, for some reason, the show is going to continue to play coy with this to a certain
Yeah,
degree, but I kind of think they're also making it quite obvious. Like, it's a wink, wink, which is like, yeah, we won't tell you now because it's more for Dante than us, but this is obviously Virgil.
yeah, 100%. Yeah,
The White Rabbit goes back through a portal and meets his demon troops. They're saying, look, Dante will come, be prepared, basically. Speaking of them, elsewhere, Mary and Dante come around. We get a little awkward moment where they wake up kind of on top of each other. I don't really think that's their dynamic. It might be further down the way, but right now it's certainly not a dynamic, you know?
yeah. It does feel like there's going to be some sort of relationship there at some point, but
Possibly, possibly. No, I can't. I mean, I don't know Devil May Cry well enough, you
yeah,
know? But Mary sees what happened to the Dark Calm and the demons when the building blew up, and like basically kind of makes a big speech about stopping the rabbit. And Dante's kind of like, "Yeah, look, I'm coming too." And she's all like, "Don't be stupid. He wants your blood and all that." And Dante kind of does the whole like bit of a big speech where he's like, "Look, I recognize my power. I recognize now that perhaps I am this person and I can do this. And my father could control his power. I can control
yeah.
mine and all of that." And it's like Dante, oh look, he's growing up. He's learned a few things. Doesn't matter. Mary shoots him in the knee, which I did at least laugh at. Yeah.
I did laugh, but I did feel that it was a moment where he has matured a bit more now, so he's starting to understand more. Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, big shot.
Responsibility with great. It's a basic line. With great power comes great responsibility.
Yep, yep.
Simple as that. But Mary's right. Like, she shoots him in the knee and kind of points out, like, he needs your blood and you're going to go bring it to him. Like, it is like, yeah, I mean, she's right and wrong. Ultimately, he's only going to come and try and find Dante. I mean, truthfully, the best answer would have been, and there's an argument to sort of say, why didn't she do this?
Yeah,
She will in a bit basically put Don in a position where she could burn him, where there'll be no blood, effectively.
yeah.
Do it then. Like, she might not hate him anymore, but there's no I care about this dude in any way, particularly when stacked up against the entire human race.
Yep.
Right? I think it's a little bit of a plot hole.
They're great. They're good.
Oh, no question, no question. But yeah, basically, so she locks up. She locks up Dante because she wants revenge, and she points out like, look, this White Rabbit has a vendetta against Darkcom, so he might stand there giving all his speeches about saving people and all that, but he's got his own personal vendetta, which is true, and the White
Yeah.
Rabbit will kind of acknowledge that later that it's a flaw in his character. Um, we get one of the worst. Obviously, this show has done new metal songs from the 90s throughout. We've had the likes of Papa Roach and Limp Bizkit and all that. They now include what I consider to be one of the worst songs ever made. It's Crazy Town's Butterfly. Now, thankfully, I think there's two jokes here. I think the show acknowledges this is a bad song. Because
Mm.
first, the person is it's playing from a car radio, and the person driving this car is a clear douchebag who gets a gun
I know.
jammed in his mouth.
I know. So yeah.
100%. And then there's a joke later on about when she turns the stereo on and it
Mm.
starts blasting at that song, all the demons start going, ah, and like it hurts them. So like I
Yeah.
was a bit like, yeah, they might be acknowledging, like, but still having to hear come come I just like, oh, I fucking hate that song so much.
Yeah.
Speaking of douches, though, look, it's Anders. Now, all my sympathy's gone at this point. Honestly, all my sympathy's gone at this point. Because, like, Rabbit calls him as well, like, he's all like, oh, I did everything you wanted. And Rabbit's like, well, my plans have gone awry, so I'm probably going to need your help again. And I'm like, man, seriously, like, my sympathy's dropping, dude. You know, what
Yeah.
now?
Yeah.
Also, I got a little worried. I was a bit like, shit, is he a MacGuffin? Is it like, oh no, we're back to a corner and we need to tell a story to progress? Let's just have the White Rabbit blackmail Anders again. It was a bit
Yeah.
like, really? Now, thankfully, that's not actually the plan.
Mm.
Thankfully. The White Rabbit addresses his troops, telling them all you have to do is land one blow on Dante. One drop of blood, right? Now, I do love the fact that the White Rabbit kind of says it in a way it's like, look, we know this is going to be really hard to do, but all of you, if just someone can get one blow on him, that's all we need. And I was a bit like, at least acknowledge that that's some bullshit job. Like, it's hard enough to even do that.
Yeah.
But obviously, someone does come, but it's not Dante. And Mary confronts the rabbit, uh, basically telling him, well, look, you need this, but you're going to give me the amulet. And if you don't, I'm going to incinerate Dante. As we see Dante trapped in the back of a Darkcom van. Well, she shows it on a monitor with like turrets facing him and all that kind of crap. There's no guarantee of that would have destroyed him anyway. And, you
Yeah.
know, but, it's a decent enough plan. But she also cleverly kind of uses the White Rabbit's like she kind of calls him out for what he's done to the demons, and you see the demons that are around the White Rabbit being a bit like, yeah, this stuff has been a bit odd. So it kind of
Yeah.
forces the rabbit to prove that he's loyal to his demon mates by giving up the amulet. However, immediately, I don't know if you thought this the first time you saw it, you're like, he's smarter than this, right? He's not just gonna be like, all right, you have it then.
Yeah. I mean, she's pretty. I'm going to say she's pretty stupid. To be fair. For God's sake, he's not just going to hand you one of the main things he needs. Okay, he's got a plan. He's not stupid.
Oh yeah, and the thing is, I don't think she's stupid here either. I think
Mm.
she knew that it was going to probably end up in a fight. But hell, why not at least try and call his bluff, like call him out? It's like there was no real way because she's prepared for that in the end, as it turns out, really. But anyway, yeah, the rabbit calls her bluff. Basically points out was like, well, now you have the amulet. Why haven't you killed Dante? Like, why haven't you incinerated him and all that? And again, and that's kind of like at least she's a bit like, well, there's my plan gone. But yeah, she ends up in a fight with some of the demons, but she ends up getting hit by a weapon, and it turns out they've coated these weapons with paralysis, kind of thing that paralyzes people. And it's like the White Rabbit reveals that it's done for Dante's purpose. Because if they hit Dante, they can easily take his blood, basically.
Yeah.
Dante now arrives to save her, but the rabbit, before it gets into a big fight, the rabbit's kind of like, hey, why don't you see what you're trying to stop? And encourages them to come with him into the portal into hell. And kind of sort of Dante experiences the unlivable living conditions. And there's a good speech here from the White Rabbit. And it's that thing again. It's like the White Rabbit's shades of grey. He is right to a degree. By that barrier, what the barrier does is it basically condemns all people of hell to live in this environment. The problem is that's not Earth's fault. That's not that, because ultimately, what would happen is there's no living in harmony here. That's the problem. There's no like, hey, it comes back to that refugee kind of thing. It's such a complex layers to the story That you
Yeah,
can see the White Rabbit's point, but is he also life doesn't work that way, I'm afraid. What needs to happen is there needs to be an uprising within hell.
yeah,
Of course, Dante basically but hearing like, ultimately that if the invasion happens. So basically the White Rabbit's thinking is it's almost a bit Thanos to a degree, which is,
mm,
hey, when the invasion happens, yeah, millions of humans will die, but over time, they'll learn to live together. The peace will grow over time as everybody gets used to a new way of living. And you're like, okay, I kind of get it, but also, yeah,
yeah.
like, yeah. But you know what the White Rabbit misses is that, like, if hell can come to Earth, what the hell makes him think that Mundus isn't just going to do exactly what he did to, you know?
Exactly, exactly. Yeah,
I guess, like I said, maybe you could argue that White Rabbit's a hopeless dreamer.
yeah, yeah. And he's definitely got a few screw looses.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. And Dante obviously refuses to let this happen, so the demon fight begins with Dante slaughtering the basic demons before facing off against a more powerful cavalier who is still alive. And that fight is quite a good fight that takes them into different realms. It's quite interesting to sort of see it fall into hell and how that affects Dante as a human and stuff like that. Meanwhile, Mary's paralysis starts to wear off, so the White Rabbit confronts her, kind of making a very strong point. It's like, look, you, me, Dante, we're all pretty much the same. We're all products of our environment. Dante is the way Dante is because his mother was killed, his brother was killed, and all of that stuff. And his father was a demon who had, a baby with his human mother. The White Rabbit is the way she's the way she is. Mary's the way she is because she was orphaned by demons and then trained to be a killer, a monster hunter herself by Darkcom. And then obviously revealing who he is to her, that he's a product of his existence is partially to blame, not just for her, but for Darkcom as well. When he unmasks himself, revealing to Mary how her actions led to his creation. And also that finally what that pump on his heart does. It's an artificial heart that basically pumps demon blood into him so he can stay alive. He'd be dead
Yeah,
otherwise. So immediately we were like, oh, so you basically that's your red glowing spot
yeah,
of the thing that's going to be your, how you take you down. But at least it's a weakness that's part of the story.
yeah, 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 definitely. But like you said, so they all have their basic reasons for being there and doing what they're doing. So you can
Yeah.
see, you can understand.
And I also like that Mary gets confronted with her past. Like,
Yeah.
she might have realized her mistakes or what to change as a person, but you can't undo what you did. And having to be faced with what you did. And, I even like her pathetic attempt to be like, we didn't mean that. Like it falls. It's not very powerful defense that she tries to put forward.
Well, yeah, because you look at it, the amount of demons that she's killed over the years. How many of them were innocent refugees, like the ones in the camp?
She
So
knows she hated demons, or she knows she's got that xenophobia. Like she knows it deep down, and to be faced with the fact that this monster, this not even a monster, this person, this human being, this was a human transformed into an evil creature, an evil monster by Darkcom's doing.
yeah,
Yeah. In hell, Dante finishes off the demons and decapitates Cavalier in a quite clever little way as well, using a portal,
yeah,
and then confronts the White Rabbit. Unsurprising, I do appreciate this. This isn't a fight. This isn't a fight. The White Rabbit's like, I have basically Virgil's sword. I'm going to use that, and it's like it's a 5 second fight. Dante easily dodges and punches the White Rabbit hard enough to knock him almost over the edge, but then grabs him, holding him over the sort of water by the amulet rope, whatever it is, the necklace part of it. But the White Rabbit isn't done. Basically telling Dante, look, I gave you the opportunity. You could have prevented what's to come. And Dante's like, what do you mean, obviously? And then the White Rabbit cuts the amulet rope and then seemingly falls to his doom or into the water anyway.
yeah,
What did he mean? Who knows? Because here's Darkcom and Enzo. And we get like a funny scene where Enzo's like, hey, I'm here to rescue you, but not really, because I'm actually their prisoner, which was quite funny. Because it's like,
yeah,
yeah, yeah. Why they brought Enzo, I don't know. But like, who cares?
yeah,
And we see Baines witnessing the aftermath. His troops are a bit confused as they haven't really been told about demons, and he declares that the battle is the first of their holy war against hell. And you're like, every time you're like, can you please stop talking? Because every time you talk, you worry me just that little bit more. Now he's about to go. not off the deep end, but is about to kind of, I think, reveal, not reveal, yeah, kind of reveal his hand in a bit, you know?
Uh, makes you wonder again if the human race are actually the good guys or the bad guys again.
It's that, isn't it? It's that. But
Yeah.
and as much about that is like religion, right?
On the church, yeah,
Yay.
the church again, yeah.
Yeah, so oh God Almighty, these animated shows do like Castlevania is not kind to the church, but
Yep.
yeah,
Assassin's
there
Creed.
we, yeah, who is? But there you go. Maybe there's a reason why, right, folks? But let's not get into religious dogma or ideology. That was episode 7 of Devil May Cry. Another enjoyable episode, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I
Yeah.
like the action. I like the story beats. I like the feel that we are coming to an end. And even when I watched it the first time, I remember thinking, this is the end of the White Rabbit story, but this is not the end of the story.
Yeah, definitely.
At the Gates of Paradise, you got any thoughts you want to share with us? You know what to do? Let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed what you've seen, please consider hitting that like and subscribe button. It does help us out. You can find us at gbhbl.com and across all social media platforms. And if you really want to give us a bit of extra support, please consider buying us a cup of coffee over on our coffee page. Thank you.